meeting to order. Again, just a reminder, identify yourselves if you're speaking or have a question or comment. We will take action items 20 through 22 as a group without objection. If anyone has any specific issues, we can take out and vote separately, but we'll take those as a group without objection. Agenda item number 20 is a new program. It's a certificate of proficiency and technical certificate in pre-health diagnostic medical sonography, UAMS by Northwest Arkansas Community College. Dr. Markham will give us background and answer questions. Dr. Markham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, there are certificate being proposed in this item. The certificate of proficiency in pre-health diagnostic medical sonography will allow students in the program to earn some of the prerequisite requirements under an MOU with UAMS to earn their diagnostic medical sonography program. No additional curriculum modifications, program costs, faculty resources, or institutional resources are needed to provide this 19 credit hour certificate. Also, we have a technical certificate in pre-health diagnostic medical sonography, which will very much do the same, but this is a 48 to 52 credit hour program, also without any additional curriculum modifications, costs, resources, or any other institutional resources necessary. This will allow students to gain knowledge of the different disciplines of sonography, including abdominal, obstetrical, gynecological, small parts examinations, and a greater understanding of ultrasound technology. There is no other certificate like this that exists in the state, so there's no duplication. We anticipate 10 to 13 students every year, and we anticipate within the first 3 years graduating a total of 10 to 13 students. Dr. Rick Tompkins, the Vice President for Learning and Chief Academic Officer at Northwest Arkansas Community College, is on to give further information on this program.
Thank you, Dr. Markham. Good morning. Yeah, this is a great partnership between NWAC and primarily UAMS Northwest. Sonography is a huge need up here in Northwest Arkansas as it is statewide. So what this allows our students to do is to get some stackable credentials here with preferred admission into UAMS Northwest seamlessly, so they can start the program over there so we can start filling those needs, employment needs here in Northwest Arkansas. It's got the support of the medical community up here. The hospitals are on board, different labs in the area. So I think it just shows how collaboration, the idea of collaboration working in the state of Arkansas up here. So it's a good project. I appreciate UAMS and UAMS Northwest for just continuing to work with us on these types of agreements. So any questions?
Are any questions from the committee?
I had one. This is Bryson Bigger. On the certificate of proficiency and the technical certificate, are these students able to immediately go out and get employment, or is it more of a bridge program into UMS Northwest?
It's a bridge program. So what we're doing is we're allowing them to get primarily their general education done. We don't have the equipment here. It's very expensive equipment to do. We're just providing that pipeline to get those students over to UMS Northwest. Great question.
One question, Jerry Cash. If a student completes this, is there a state board required for certification before you can practice?
That is handled through UAMS Northwest. So once they transition over to UAMS, there's a certification process that they have upon graduation to get certified. Very likely through the Board of Health. But they won't get that certification leaving NWAC. It really is just preparing them to be able to be successful over in the UAMS Northwest program.
This is Al Brodell. You mentioned support from your local hospitals and facilities. Did they give you any idea of the number of openings they have immediately?
Hundreds right now. Very similar to what we have in radiology. It's well over 100 they have right now openings in the area. They can't get enough, and so it's just one of those needs that they put as a high priority, which is my partnership with.
Those are all good questions. Any other questions for Dr. Markin or Dr. Tompkins? Hearing no other questions, we'll move on to agenda item number 21. This is a new program for a Master of Science in Marketing at the University of Arkansas, Fayetteville. Dr. Markham?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, Master of Science in Marketing in the Walton College of Business for early career professionals who want to receive advanced specialized training in marketing. The total number of credit hours is 3. Program funding from reallocation of funds in a program initially funded using Walton College operational funds. The college will initially support in marketing and recruiting. Only 2 programs offer an online marketing. Those are University of Texas and University of Mississippi, with similar price points to US-based online graduate. The annual online enrollment is 15 students with your graduation anticipated at 25 students. And we do have Dr. Terry Martin on the line from the University of Arkansas to give further information on
this. Go ahead.
Yes, this is Terry Martin, the interim provost at the University of Arkansas. As Maria said, this program is for early career professionals who want to receive advanced specialized training in marketing. Marketing is a field that continues to grow. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, between 2018 and 2028, the profession is projected to grow by 8%, which is over 300,000 marketing managers. Currently, the growth rate in Arkansas is around 12% and 11% regionally. Industry-wide, the needs are changing and are becoming more complex, especially in Arkansas. The growing economy in Arkansas is in need of managers and leaders trained in the full skill set of marketing decision-making, including retailing, customers, and support insights, new product development, and marketing research. The proposed degree is grounded in an understanding of a complete complexity and breadth of disciplines related to marketing and consumer behavior. The academic benchmark and labor market report undertaken by our University of Arkansas Global Campus has identified the need for managers with hard skills, including product management, new product development, digital marketing, retail analysis, and marketing strategies. Marketing decision makers also need solid interpersonal and soft skills, including strong communication, sales, and presentation skills. The coursework in this proposed degree is designed to equip the students with both hard and soft skills that are necessary for creating, developing, and marketing available products and services. Students will be able to understand the challenges faced by competing organizations in an environment altered by changes in consumer behavior, technology, and globalization. They will gain applied understanding of standard and advanced analytical techniques used to transform customer and competition data into actionable business intelligence. The latest median hourly survey or hourly wages for this area for someone with a marketing degree is $66 nationally. It's $60 in the region and $58 for the state of Arkansas. The proposed program aligns with the University 8 guiding priorities, one of which focuses on strengthening graduate education. I'll take any questions that you might have at this time.
Are there any questions from the committee?
Mr. Martin, I noticed that on the the institutions offering similar programs, they're online. Just so I'm clear, is this program going to be in person or virtual?
This is an online program that we have. It's completely 100% online.
I make a
Any other
motion. I make a motion. We accept it, Mr. Chairman.
That motion is definitely appreciated. If we could table that until, we're going to take these as a group, if that's okay. So,
Okay, good.
any other questions? Hearing no other questions, we'll move on to agenda item number 22. This is for the Institutional Certification Advisory Committee report and resolutions. Ms. Bowles?
Yes, good morning. These are the out-of-state and private institutions that are requesting certification or approval from the board for new programs. We have 2 institutions requesting approval for 10 degree certificate programs. And they're listed on agenda item number 22.
Questions? Hearing no questions, we will move on to agenda items 23 and 24. These are informational items. They're letters of notification and letters of intent. And Dr. Markham?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Letters of notification programs included here are those that I have approved prior to the coordinating board program initiation. These programs are considered reasonable and moderate extensions of existing certificates and degrees, and those are listed in your agenda book beginning on page 23-1.
Are there any questions?
Is this 23 and 24 together?
No, sir, I will mention 24 separately. Agenda item number 2, those are our letters. Those are to inform the board of institutions that plan to offer new programs or organizational units that require proposal and coordinating board approval. Chief academic and chief executive officers can offer comment on the proposed programs and organizational units before the proposals are actually considered by the higher ed coordinating board. All of the letters of intent are found on page 24-1 in your agenda book.
Any questions?
Dr. Markham, this is Al Brodell. I often ask about the comments we receive back on these letters. And this time I received multiple copies or copies of multiple comments, most of them pertaining to National Park and their official letter of intent for a rolling scope change. And I was wondering if there was anyone on the call from National Park who could who'd be willing to let us know if they plan to proceed with a full proposal.
Yes, sir. Dr. John Hogan is on the line from National Park. We can unmute him and let him have the floor.
Thank you, Dr. Markham. John Hogan from National Park College. Our intent is to proceed forward and ask this board to consider this proposal on its merits, as opposed to history or turf or any other criteria. We've heard from our employers in Garland County. Our largest economic engine is healthcare. Nursing is a significant gap, particularly at for bachelor's prepared nurses. And they've asked us to take this on. We also have heard from our students. So in light of those two voices, we're asking that we this group consider the feasibility study that will precede this conversation today and judge that on its merits. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to attempt to answer those.
I have a question. I'm a big fan of President Hogan's. I think he does a great job down at National Park College. And I can understand the need for a nursing program. But if this is the beginning of another 4-year college, I'm reluctant without more data and more information to begin that. But I can certainly approve a nursing program. But if it's the start of something that would eventually be a new 4-year college, I would like to spend more time on this topic.
So thank you, Dr. Carr. You're always an advocate. I always appreciate our friendship. And our intent is to remain a community college. Community colleges are offering workforce baccalaureates now in more than 23 states in the US through 123 colleges. So while the idea is new to Arkansas, we're focused on changing our scope only, not our role. So we have a 9-member elected board, all from Garland County. Our DNA is a community college. So to extend that definition of a community college to offer this workforce-related baccalaureate. So it's a new idea to Arkansas, but not a new idea nationally.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hogan. Dr. Markham, I would just ask about the procedural next steps on this. Is the time for comments closed? Are there more comments? And what happens between now and that full presentation? Could you just make sure we know that procedurally?
Right. Well, I mean, the official timeline for comment prior to the presentation of this letter of notification has closed. However, comments are always coming into my office, and I'm sure to the board as well. So although it was not part of what you saw leading up into this, I'm sure there will be additional comment both for and against and neutrally to this item before you see it again. What will happen next is National Park, should they choose to do so, will proceed with developing a full proposal, complete with the labor market information, economic feasibility, the curricular considerations, licensure considerations, everything that would go into developing such a program. And then that full proposal would be presented to this board for approval. Today's information is just that, it's informational purposes, basically puts the board on notice as well as the rest of the institutions of higher education that this is a possibility moving forward. And then if a full proposal is presented to the board, at that point, this group would have the opportunity to either approve or deny that proposal based on the content then. So I believe they have about 6 months. So it could be at this next quarterly board meeting in July or January or the following that proposal can be completely presented.
And then just one brief follow-up, Dr. Markham. Prior to that coming to our board procedurally within your department, can you give us a rundown of, just to make sure some of our new board members are aware of what happens before it reaches this board?
Yes, so the Academic Affairs Department here at the division assists in putting together the proposal to ensure that it meets all of the requirements. Basically, they're going to make sure that it checks all the boxes. We will vet all of the data that is submitted to ensure that that we feel like it is accurate and a good reflection of what will be presented. And then as long as that proposal meets all of the procedural requirements, it will be presented to this board.
I thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Hogan, this is Kevin Anderson. Just a question. You also explored the option of partnering with an existing program, similar to maybe the same concept we just looked at that NWAC is doing with UAMS. I realize geographically they may be closer together, but is it a possibility to partner with an existing program and start there at your institution and there's some synergies with an existing program without starting a new one?
That's a very good question. We have 3 bachelor's degrees offered on our campus with a similar kind of method that you're proposing with Southern Arkansas University for chemistry and biology and computer science. So to make a long story short, our feeling is that nursing is not a good fit for a partnership, or not as good a fit. Part of our reasoning there is we're trying to widen the pipeline and attract more students to our ASN program. And the BSN program will be we feel will be a magnet to help us do that. So that just takes on a very different way of how students view it. So as we've asked our students, that's the answer that they've come up with. Obviously, if this is something that we can't follow through on, then we would look at a university partnership as we continue to do that through other disciplines. We just felt that there wasn't really a good fit for nursing.
Geographically, what's the closest if there was a potential partnership, what's geographically the closest institute that would make the most sense if you were to partner with someone?
We do, we partner with Henderson State University. Our volume is too loud, okay. Is that better? I'm sorry. We do partner with Henderson State University. That's an online program. There's a joint enrollment component. So that meets a need of part of the segment that we're trying to reach, but not the entire group. And Henderson is the closest.
Because I realize geography could be a factor in terms of travel time, and is it practical for the student? But again, the availability of the technology and online options seems to make some of these situations more and more feasible. So
we're trying to reach a wider marketplace. So there are a vast number of online options. So our program is going to be hybrid. Many of these students are place bound and not able to complete, and just have a learning preference for on-premise, either full or partially delivered program. So we think the effect will be that we'll end up with more, that the existing online programs will get more students, and also will produce more BSNs, and the winners will be the local healthcare providers here and the state of Arkansas. A lot of our students go to proprietary online programs as well. So we're targeting that as a potential.
Okay. Thank you for your answers, Dr. Hogan. Are there any other questions? So hearing no other questions, we'll move to the approval of action items numbers 20 through 22. Before we vote on these, are there any institutional representatives that care to address the board? Okay, hearing none there, we will move on to vote. Do I hear a motion to recommend approval of agenda items 20 through 22 to the full board?
Now I'll give you my motion. How's that?
Motion accepted. Thank you, Dr. Carr. Is there a second?
Second.
Hearing first and second. If there are no questions, are there any objections or no's? Hearing none, and consider that approved. And those will be recommended to the full board. If there's no other business to come before the committee, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Your first and second. If anybody objects, say so. Hearing none, we are adjourned. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. I appreciate